सहना भवतु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, कर ले बंदे कोई शुभ काम। सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, शिव आएंगे तेरे काम। सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, कर ले बंदे कोई शुभ काम। ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। खुद को राख लपेटे फिरते, औरों को देते वरदान। खुद को राख लपेटे फिरते, औरों को देते वरदान। देवों के हित विष पी डाले, नीलकंठ को कोटि प्रणाम। देवों के हित विष पीडाले नीलकंठ को कोटि प्रणाम। नीलकंठ को कोटि प्रणाम। सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, शिव आएंगे तेरे काम। सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, कर ले बंदे कोई शुभ काम। ओम नमः शिवाय। 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम्। नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम्। भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम्। नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया। यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम्। तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदम्। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः माया कल्पितदेशकालकलना मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महा योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत् कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यः साक्षात्करणात् भवेन्न पुनरावृत्तिर्महाभोनिधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये दक्षिणामूर्तये नानाच्छिद्रघटोदरस्थितमहा दीपप्रभाभास्वरम् यस्थितचुरादिकरणा धारावहिस्पन्दते ज्ञानामीति तमेव भान्तमनुभात्येतत्समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं दक्षिणामूर्तये प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः नान्यजडोपमास्त्वहमिति भ्रान्तामृषं वादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पिता तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. My prostrations unto the teacher who is the destroyer of all kinds of delusions. Delusions about the self. That the self is the body, the prana, the indriya, the flickering consciousness or nothingness. These people who vehemently argue that this is the nature of the self, they are like Strī, bāla, andha, Jadopamaha. So we have seen up to andha. Now the next term is Jada. What is this Jada? So this is again a defect of the mind. A mind which is dull. Dull. To gain knowledge, mind should be in the sattvic state. Only a mind which is sattvic is fit to gain knowledge. Absence of this sattvic state is what is called as Jadatvam. Dullness of the mind. No sharpness, no alertness, no purity. It is gross, extroverted, impure. Such a dull, unfit mind is called Jada. And such a person is called Jada. In this case. Right. Self-knowledge needs a highly prepared mind, a highly qualified mind, because self is the subtlest in us. So to know the subtlest, you must have a equally subtle instrument. Only with a subtle instrument you can do subtle operations. Right. Sukshmata is needed. Purer the mind, subtler the mind. Subtler the mind, the easier it is able to grasp the subtlest self. The Supreme Self is the subtlest, Sukshmatamam it is. Higher than the sense object is the sense organs. So sense organs are subtler. Higher than the sense organ is mind. Mind is still subtler. Higher than the mind is intellect. Intellect is still subtler. Higher than the intellect is ego. Ego is still subtler. And the subtlest one is the pure consciousness. So if we have to experience that subtlest consciousness, only such an equally subtle mind alone can experience it. So that is why preparation of mind is absolutely essential. Right? The knowledge gained by a subtle mind is very different from the knowledge gained by a gross mind. Very different. The knowledge gained by a tamasic, rajasic mind is very different from the knowledge gained by a sattvic mind. As the purity increases, the subtlety increases, and when the subtlety increases, you are able to see, you are able to experience clearly, intimately the higher truths of life. Right. Suppose you have to do a subtle operation. You must use subtle instruments, isn't it? An operation is done, a surgery is done. So all those equipments are very, very subtle. You can't just take on axe and then do some cutting and all that. You can't. Anyway, cutting is you take something. Bring something from the kitchen. You can't do that. Subtler the operation, subtler should be the instruments. So now, reading some books, listening to some this thing, I am also fit. Such people are called Jada here. Jada. Remember, Jada is just the opposite of Chaitanya. Dull, gross, impure, extroverted, sensuous fellow, if he sits in Vedanta class, what will happen? He will attain to the state of Jadatvam. What is that state? Sushupti avastha. You see? He'll go to sleep. Isn't it? Jada. So these people who are talking about the highest truth, vehemently arguing, such people are this. So if we are not able to enjoy spirituality, one reason may be that mind is Jada, in its Jadatva state. The mind which is in this state will not enjoy spirituality. That is why Bhagavan says, Nitya Sattvastho Bhava. There are times when the mind enjoys spirituality. There are times when it doesn't enjoy. What makes the difference? The quality of the mind makes the difference. So, bāla, Strī, Jada, andha, these are all the different states of the mind. So, we should be alert enough not to fall in any of these categories, because they are all the disqualification of the mind to grasp the subtlest truth, which is our own true self. Now here we also have to understand one thing. Here the Lord is the Guru, He is Vyamoha Samharin, Samharta, the destroyer. Now a question may come, Bhagavan is all compassionate. Why can't He destroy the ignorance of everyone? Ahaituka karuna sindhu is. So what should he do? He should destroy the ignorance of everyone, isn't it? But can he destroy the ignorance of everyone? No. Bhagavan may be compassionate, but we have to be cooperative. These are the people who don't cooperate. So when the Shishyas don't cooperate, Guru cannot do anything. How much ever great the Guru may be, how much ever compassionate the Guru may be. So that is why, what is the condition earlier mentioned for the Shishyas? Ashritan Sakshat Tattvamasiti Vedavachasa Yo Bodhayati, not Sarvan. Ashritan. Because even Guru is helpless. The fellow is drowning. Guru wants to help. He has extended his hand. But the fellow who is drowning should extend his hand, isn't it? He must have faith in the person who is standing out. Yes, this person may say me, let me give my hand. Suppose he doesn't give the hand, because there is no trust in the fellow standing out. Then, poor Guru cannot do anything. Isn't it? So therefore, why is there so much of suffering in this world? Not because God is not compassionate. God is ever concerned for the welfare and well-being of everyone. But we are not cooperative. Because a necessary condition is we should cooperate. We should surrender, have faith in the teacher, in the Guru, in the Lord. But if we don't have faith, then this is what will happen to us. Bhranta. Brishambadinah. Even Bhagavan is helpless. So the example given is like the sunlight. Sunlight is bright. It is giving light everywhere. But if my windows and doors are closed, what will I experience? Darkness. You can't blame the sun for your state of darkness. Sun is impartially giving light to everyone, but if my room is dark, there is something which I have to do. So in the same way, we suffer in this world not because of the lack of grace and blessings. Grace and blessings of the Lord, of Guru, it is always there. We suffer not because of the lack of grace and blessings of the Lord. We suffer because we are not open to His grace and blessings. We have to open ourselves to His grace. Right. So this point we have to understand. Now, next topic is a little subtle topic. This topic comes because there is a necessity to prove that the self is there in all the three states. The waking state, dream state, and the deep state. How do you prove that the self is there in a particular state? The Supreme Self's presence has to be proved by, what are the properties of the self? Sat and Chit. Existence. So in the waking state, I know my existence. I know that I am conscious. So any doubt in the presence of the self? No, I know it. Because Sat is there, Chit is there. In the dream state, do we have any doubt? No, I am aware that awareness is nothing but self. I know I exist. So that existence is also there. No, Swamiji, it is the existence of the ego, no? No problem. Ego is nothing but the shadow of the self. So ego is there means, shadow is there means, the original is also there. Yes or no? So if you can prove the presence of shadow, that is enough. Getting my point? If the shadow is there, that's enough. If you can prove the presence of the ego, that is enough. It is itself is the proof of the presence of the Supreme Self. So in the dream state we have no problem. In the waking state also we have no problem. Where do we have problem? In the deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state, what do we experience? We don't experience Sat. We experience Asat. I doubt. I think I don't exist in the sleep. I don't experience my presence in the sleep. So Sat is not there. I am not conscious in the sleep. So therefore Chit is also not there. So when you are saying Sat is not there, Chit is not there, whom are you denying? You are denying the presence of the Supreme Self. So therefore, this particular topic has to be addressed. It has to be proved that Supreme Self is present even in deep sleep state. Only then we can say Supreme Self is present in all the states. This condition has to be necessarily proven, because a reality has to be present irrespective of the states of the mind. Then only we can call it reality. That reality which comes with some mental state and goes with some mental state, that cannot be called a reality. So therefore, this topic has to be analyzed, discussed. So with this purpose, we enter into verse number 6, page number 75. राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दु सदृशो माया समाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रः करणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत् सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदम्। श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दुसदृशो मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रः करणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदम्। श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। Before entering into the verse, a little discussion is necessary. Who experiences deep sleep? Can Supreme Self experience deep sleep? Nirguna Brahman. Can he, will he experience deep sleep? Yes or no? Why? Because from the standpoint of the Supreme Self, everything is an illusion. So the reality will not experience illusion. So from the standpoint of the Supreme Self, there is no deep sleep. Right. Now, the next question. Can ego experience sleep? Can the ego experience sleep? Confused. What is ego? So first we have to see the definition of the ego, isn't it? To see whether it exists in sleep or not. Ego is nothing but wrong notions in the mind. Accepted? What is ego? it is a wrong notion in the mind, which is called as ahamvritti. I am man, I am woman. There's a notion, it is a thought in the mind. I am tall, fat, dark, lean, thin. They are all different notions about me. I am smart, intelligent, miserable, joyful, successful. So they are all different notions about me in my mind. This bundle of notion is what is called as ego. So any notion, how does it stay in the mind? As a thought. So it is a bundle of thought. Now, in deep sleep what happens? Will the mind exist? No. Mind doesn't exist. So therefore, the thoughts in the mind also should not exist. Right? So since thought should not exist, all notions also should not exist. Therefore, ego also should not exist. In deep sleep, ego should not exist. So, ego is not existing. So therefore, a non-existent ego cannot experience deep sleep. Yes? A non-existent ego. First condition to experience something is existence. I must exist to experience something, isn't it? If I am a non-existent entity, how can a non-existent entity experience something? So therefore, since ego is non-existent, we have to conclude that that ego cannot experience anything. So one side, ego cannot experience deep sleep. On the other side, Supreme Self will not experience deep sleep. Then who is experiencing it? Ego means what? Jivatma only. When we say ego, it is Jivatma. So Jivatma is there or not in the deep sleep? It is not there. Because Jivatma is what? Wrong notion. You call it individual self, you call it Jivatma, you call it ego, you call it Ahankara. They are all nothing but bundle of wrong notions. That wrong notion is gone when the mind is gone. Correct? So now, this is a very interesting question. The ego, the Ahankara, the Jivatma is not there in deep sleep. So therefore it cannot experience deep sleep. The Supreme Self will not experience because it is an illusion. Then who is experiencing it? Or is there anyone experiencing? This is where Shunyavada comes. It is Shunyam. There is nobody there. There is nobody experiencing anything. So now Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji has to refute this. Because once you prove that there is Shunya, then all our philosophy, that Sat, Chit of the self, everything is gone. Right. Now, let us analyze. If you say mind is absolutely non-existent in sleep, if you say the ego is absolutely non-existent in sleep, then during sleep, when some explosion happens, how can this person wake up? A non-existent person cannot wake up. Are you able to understand what I am saying? This person is sleeping and you shake him and wake him up. If his mind is absolutely non-existent, this person is absolutely non-existent, then even if you shake him, he should not wake up, because the non-existent entity will never know anything. So therefore, we have to conclude, because when you are shaking, there is some sense perceptions happening. The mind is there. This mind is alerting the ego, and the ego is waking up. Means what? We cannot say ego is non-existent. We can only say ego is unmanifest, non-functional in the sleep. Not non-existent, but only non-functional, unmanifest, dormant. Are you able to understand? Unmanifest means what? It is not doing anything, but it is there. What is the proof? The very fact that in emergency, this fellow is coming up. A non-existent fellow cannot just come up. He is there, but he is only merely there, not functioning. Not functioning as a perceiver, as a feeler, as a thinker. He is not seeing, he is not hearing, etc. Functions are all suspended, but he is there in the unmanifest form, in a seed form. Right? Just like the whole creation goes into pralaya, just like samashti goes into pralaya, vyashti also goes into pralaya in sushupti avastha. What is the pralaya state? It is the unmanifest state. Avyakta avastha it is. Avyakta avastha means what? Unmanifest. Means what? He is there, but not manifest. Not non-existent, but only not manifest. In the waking he is manifest, in the deep sleep he is unmanifest. Clear? It is exactly like a shop owner. The shop opens, say morning, say 9 o'clock. The shop is closed, say evening 7 o'clock. The shop owner goes away. The workers also go away. Only security is there. Can you say the shop owner is absolutely non-existent? No, he is there, but non-functional. If there is some emergency, he will come. But otherwise he is not available there. He is not seen working, but he is there. So if suppose some fire etc. breaks out, immediately the security fellow will inform the owner will come running. Isn't it? Are you able to understand what I am saying? So therefore, in the deep sleep, ego is there. How? In its unmanifest form. So now, what about the mind? Is it non-existent or unmanifest? Again, unmanifest. Why? Because when you are woken up, there is a mind which is functioning. What about the senses? Unmanifest. They are all unmanifest. They are not non-existent. When a person dies, you can say it is non-existent. But in sleep, it is only unmanifest. So now, when the deep sleep experience is happening, will he be there to experience it? Yes. So when I wake up from sleep, what do I say? I slept well. I did not know anything. Who is experiencing this? It is this unmanifest ego. Are you able to follow? So this is the proof that the self is present. The very fact that experience had taken place, during that time I will not know. But experience was taking place unconsciously in an unmanifest way. When I wake up, I recollect. Yes, I slept well. Means what? Experience was there. Means what? Experiencer was there. Means what? Ego was there. Means what? Shadow is there. Means what? The Supreme Self is there. With this foundation, let us enter into this verse. Tasmai Shrī Gurumurtaye Namaidam Dakshinamurtaye. My prostrations unto this Dakshinamurti, who is now in the form of a sleeping man. Okay. Because the sleeping Jivatma is also none other than Paramatma alone. So what is his condition? Yaha sushuptaha abhut. Yaha puman, that person. Sushuptaha abhut. Who is sleeping. Why is he sleeping? Maya samachhadanat. Maya has covered him. Samyak achhadanam. Achhadanam means covering. Samachhadanam means very well covering. So because of the influence of Maya, he is sleeping now. In this Maya, which is that factor which puts us to sleep? Sattva, Rajas or Tamas? Tamas. So when it is said Maya, we have to understand that tamasic aspect of Maya. Not Rajasic or Sattvic. Sattvic aspect brings out Ichha Shakti and Jnana Shakti. The ability to desire, ability to know. That is the property of Sattva. What about the property of Rajas? Kriya Shakti, ability to work. What about Tamas? It is Avarana Shakti, it covers. So when we are extremely tired, a time comes when body needs rest. Because you are tired. So when body needs rest, what happens? Tamas takes over the body. Rajas and Sattva, they are what you call overpowered by Tamas. This is called as Maya Samachhadana. Tamas overpowers you. Right. So now an example is given. Rahu Grasta Divakara Indu Sadrishaha. Like Rahu Grasta. Divakara Indu. Divakara Indu means Divakara. Who is Divakara? Sun. Indu, moon. So solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Rahu Grasta. So during solar eclipse, what do you see? The sun is hidden, isn't it? Sun is eclipsed. Sun doesn't become non-existent, sun is only covered. Right? So in that darkness, you see sun behind. What you see is only darkness, as though it is covered. So just like the sun or the moon, they are covered during the eclipse. In the same way, this person is there, the Supreme Self is there, it is only covered by this tamas. Then what happens when it is covered? Karana upasamharanataha. At that time, during deep sleep, what happens? There is a upasamhara, withdrawal of karana. Karana means instruments. What are the instruments? The mind, the senses, etc. So there is a withdrawal of the mind and the senses during deep sleep. It is not destruction, it is only withdrawal. Withdrawal means what? It goes to an unmanifest state. The senses, the mind, etc., they go into an unmanifest state. So what is the condition of ego at that time? Sanmatraha. Sat matraha. Mere existence. So that unmanifest state of ego is called here as mere existence. It is not non-existence. It is mere existence. What do you mean mere existence? Now the ego is not functional. That is the meaning. What do you mean ego is not functional? It is not transacting with the world. The mind and the senses, they are not active. It is in its unmanifest state. Sanmatraha. Sanmatra should not be misunderstood as what? Pure existence. No. Don't say that in sleep I am, abiding in consciousness. No such nonsense. If you are ignorant in the waking, you will remain ignorant in the deep sleep also. The state continues. So here Sanmatra means in its unmanifest existence. Then what happens? Prabodha samaye. When he wakes up, what does he say? Prag aswapsam. Earlier I slept well. So after waking up he is saying this. Prag, earlier, I have slept well. Aswapsam, past tense. Aswapsam, I have slept well. Yaha, the one who pratyabhitnyayate, thus recollects. So when is he recollecting? Prabodha samay, in his waking state. Now he has come to waking state. Now he is recollecting. What did happen? So many hours. What did I do? Yes, I slept well. He never say, I don't know what happened. Suddenly, how did the clock go, 8 hours ahead? I don't know what happened. No. I slept well. I slept well. So that means what? Experience was there. That means experiencer was there. The ego was there. Therefore, the Supreme Self also was definitely there. So therefore, in the Sushupti Avastha also, Supreme Self is there. Therefore, in all the three states, waking, dream and deep sleep, Self is there. Tri avasthasu yattisthati tat sat. The one thing which remains in all the three states. That which can never be negated. That which can never be falsified. So therefore, Shunyavada is refuted here. Don't say it is Shunyam, a state of absolute non-existence. No. There is something existing. The very proof that experience is happening shows that experiencer is there. Clear? Right. Now the next verse talks about not only in the three stages but in all stages of life also the Self is present. Balyavastha, Kaumaravastha, Vriddhavastha, in all these states also Self is there. Three Kaleshu also Self is there. So these are all the glories of the Self. So what are we trying to prove here? Self is eternal, unlike the physical body. So therefore, if you can identify yourself with the Self in you, you will experience eternity. You will experience amrutatvam. Mrityorma amrutam gamaya. This is the way to go. Shift your attention from the mortal body to the immortal Self. But for that we have to prove that Self is immortal. That is a process that is going on. So this next verse we will see tomorrow. Vande Shankara Guru Deva Vande Shankara Guru Deva Pavana Charana Tore Karuna Jnanamrita Purna Vande Shankara Guru Deva Vande Shankara Shankara Gurudeva Vande Shankara Gurudeva Nitya Niranjana Satya Swarupa Pratyagatmane Anandarupa Nitya Niranjana Satya Swarupa Pratyagatmane Anandarupa Nidai Ghanajnana Bodha Nidai Ghanajnana Bodha ಬೇಡುವೆ ನಿನ್ನೋಳು ಶಂಕರ ವಂದೇ ಶಂಕರ ಗುರುದೇವ ವಂದೇ ಶಂಕರ ಗುರುದೇವ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪವ ಬೋಧಿಸಿಯನ್ನ ಮುಕ್ತ ಮಾಡು ನೀ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುದೇವ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪವ ಬೋಧಿಸಿಯನ್ನ ಮುಕ್ತ ಮಾಡು ನೀ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುದೇವ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಪಥದ ಬೋಧ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಪಥದ ಬೋಧ ಬೇಡುವೆ ನಿನ್ನೋಳು ಶಂಕರ ವಂದೇ ಶಂಕರ ಗುರುದೇವ ವಂದೇ ಶಂಕರ ಗುರುದೇವ ವಂದೇ ಶಂಕರ ಗುರುದೇವ സർവേ ഭവന്തു സുഖിനഃ സർവേ സന്തു നിരാമയാഃ സർവേ ഭദ്രാണി പശ്യന്തു മാ കശ്ചിത് ദുഃഖഭാഗ് ഭവേത്. അസതോ മാ സദ്ഗമയ തമസോ മാ ജ്യോതിർഗമയ മൃത്യോർമാ അമൃതം ഗമയ. ഓം ശാന്തി ശാന്തി ശാന്തി. ഹരി ഓം. ശ്രീ ഗുരുഭ്യോ നമഃ. ഹരി ഓം.